It's Storytime Tea. That's me, and today I'm here to tell you a story about how my travels were when I was in a different country. Okay? That's probably not going to be the name of the story, but I'm going to tell you about a certain situation. Cool. I'm going to set the scene. This was my first time leaving the country? Question mark? Second time? I don't know. Okay, so I was over in one of those little European countries, okay? Yeah, and when I was there with somebody else, but I kind of like to venture off and do my own thing sometimes. And then also, like, I'm not trying to be bothering somebody all the time, and I don't really feel like I need to be with somebody else all the time. I like to do my own thing. So I had a period of time where I was just like, oh, I'm gonna read this little book, and I'm gonna go and do this, and da-da-da. And so I went to go get some lunch, and I be knowing the city once I'm there. Let me be somewhere for 2 days, and I feel like I know the whole city. So I'm there, I'm walking around, and I had seen this spot, like I had passed it like twice before, and I was just like, oh, I want some food. It smelled good in there. I'm gonna go in this spot for real. So I go in the spot, and the food was so good. Like, I was just looking at it like, And you know how, like, it's like a little mom and pop shop. Like, they only got about, like, 10 tables in there for real. And you just like, oh, let me get this food. But, like, it be jumping. Like, people be in there. But it ain't no space for nobody to be in there for real. It was, like, one of those little spots. The food that I was eating wasn't, like, native to the land food. But that's how I knew it was going to be good. So I don't even know the ethnicity of these people. Like, I don't know where they were from at all, or like what language they were speaking at all. All I knew is that this food was about to bust. So he had the little food on a little thing. He cut some off for me. It was so good. He put it in a little box for me and everything like that, because I was like taking it to go, but I was going to sit down just because I wanted to not have to ask for a box later. I hate asking for a box later. Like, just put my stuff in the box and then I figure it out on my own. So I went and I sat in the little corner, because that was like one of the only tables that was like open for real at the time. But like, as I was sitting in there, I was in there for a little minute, because like this was an experience. I wasn't in there just to eat real quick. I was just vibing out. And so I'm sitting in there for a minute, like people leaving, and then it's starting to die down and everything like that. Like the person who like put the food on a plate for me, he came over to me. He's just like, hey, how are you? I'm just like, I'm doing well. And he was just like, where are you from? I'm just like, America. Obviously, you hear my accent. I'm from America. He's just like, what part of America? I've been there before. I'm just like, Baltimore. He's like, oh, Baltimore. He was like, I've been to DC. I'm just like, two different things, but yeah. Same general area. And so he's just like, well, yeah, that's great. He was like, what do you like to do for fun? I'm just like, this. I like to go to other people's countries and eat their food. And he's just like, oh my goodness. He's like, do you like read a lot? Like, it seemed like you're really into your phone. Like, what are you looking at? I'm like, yeah, I got a little something that I'm reading on here. He's just like, oh, that's good. I'm just like, yeah. And I'm just like, how long have you been here? He's like, oh, but my family is here. Like, we all moved here from this place and everything like that. He's like, been here for like 30 years. Like, my son was born here, but da-da-da-da, whatever. I'm just like, oh, okay. He was like, yeah, I just had to come over here and talk to you. I'm just like, okay, well, I'm glad that you talked to me. I'm just like, since you had to come over and talk to me, I'm glad that you got to talk to me. And so we was really talking, we was chatting it up for like a little minute. And then he was just like, yeah, you have to meet my son. I was just like, I have to meet your son? He's like, yeah, you have to meet my son. You would love my son. And he's like, how long you're going to be in here? I'm just like, I was thinking about being here for like another like 30 minutes for real. He was like, my son will be soon. My son will be soon. Because like, he spoke English, but like, you could tell that it wasn't his first or his second language. like at the time, like, I was like, I knew he wasn't native to there, because he told me he wasn't native to there. So I'm like, you know your language from where you from, because you don't look like these people around here. So I know you ain't from close. You're not from close. So I'm like, you know your people from where you from. and you know their language, and then you came here and you learned their language so that you could have this little shop here and everything like that. But then also, like, this is a touristy kind of area, and so you learn English to interact with the tourists that's going to come around. So I'm just like, you know everything for real. And so I'm just like so when he was speaking to me, I was kind of like, I had to lock in. I had to really lock in, because I was just like, if I don't lock in, I ain't gonna know what he talking about, because the accent was thick. Like, the accent was thick among him. So I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna be here when your son come, whatever. He gets on the phone with his son. He's like, get over here. Like, obviously it was in his language, but he was not playing. He was like, yo, get in here now. It's time. And so his son pulled up. Bruh, like, I don't know what he came from doing. Like, I don't even know what his son came from doing. But he was ripped. His son was ripped, okay? And, like, they were, like, I don't want to say it was Egyptian, because they wasn't Egyptian. But, like, when I looked up the place that he said, it was, like, somewhere that was close. But, like, he looked brown, but, like, I don't even know. I can't even describe to you. I can't even think of a person that I would say he would resemble for real. Because, like, who would he resemble for real? Like, he looked like a mixed baby, though. He didn't look like he was just from one place for real. I'm just like, bro, you don't look like anybody that I've ever seen before. And, like, he was just cut. He was cut, and he had on, like, one of the little shirts. They got the little sleeves cut off, like he did it himself. He just, he was like, I'm a little bit too big for this shirt, but, like, this is my shirt for real. And so then he's like, this is my son, meet my son. He's like, come on. And then so he brings his son over to me. He's like, she's from America. And I'm like, hey, yo. He was like, Baltimore. I said, you pronounce the fuck out of that B and that T. He's like, yes, Baltimore. And I was like, oh, all right. And so he's just like, yes, my son, this is my firstborn son. And he was telling me all the things about his son. It's just like, it was the most adorablest thing ever. It's like he really was trying to showcase his son's best qualities. He just like, look at this man that I have. Like, this is my own, like, this is my guy. Like, you might fuck with him. Do you fuck with him? Is he cool for real? Like, you see, like, turn around. He was really trying to, he's like, you see this back? This is a strong back. He can build a house with this back. I'm just like, yo. And it was the funniest thing ever. And so he was like, I'll leave y'all. And so the guy's just like, hey. And I'm like, hey. And I'm just like, this is crazy, because he said all these things about you, and I feel like I know all this stuff about you. What is your name? And he said something starting with like an A-S, like Ashura or something like that. It was so cool. I was like, ooh. You got a little pizzazz to your name for real. But, like, that's how everybody's name is when it's not a name that, like, you hear on a daily basis. And so I was just like, oh, that's nice. He's like, what's your name? I told my name. He's just like, oh, I've never heard that one before. I'm just like, no, you haven't. People in America haven't even heard my name. I'm like, I don't know what my mama and my daddy was doing. They was just in there doing their thing. They just was making something up. They said, this sounds cool for real. And then they put that on my birth certificate. So, yeah, I was just like, oh, thank you. And then we're talking, and he's just like, yeah. He's like, my dad wants me to marry soon. He said I'm getting old. I'm like, how old are you? He's like, I'm 27. I'm just like, why would he say that? I'm like, why would he say that? You're just 27. He's just like, I know. He's like, how old are you? I'm just like, I'm 25. He's just like, oh, we're like the same age. I'm like, basically. And so we're just talking and everything like that. He's just like, yeah, I just had to come over and talk to you because my dad literally called me. He knew that I was at the gym, but the gym is like 5 minutes away. He was just like, you got to get here now. Your wife is here. And I'm just like, my wife? And I'm just like, your wife is crazy. like your wife is crazy because, like, what if I'm not cool for real? Like, what if I beat men up? Like, I'm like, what if I'm emotionally draining? Like, you never know. And he was just like, yeah, but you definitely look like you could be my wife. And I'm just like, wow, strong words from you. You look good. I ain't never gonna say that you don't look good. Like, you doing what you gotta do. Like, your face, like, bone structure wise, like, body with a T. Okay. But I'm just like, sir, no. I'm like, you literally live in another country. It took me, what, like 13 hours to get here? I'm like, it took me 13 hours on a plane, babes, to get to you. I'm not doing this again. And I'm just like, y'all got this little shop here. This is a family shop. Like, are you supposed to be taking on this shop? Or like, is your little brother taking the shop on? Somebody got to stay here. Like, this is a family business. And I'm not staying in a European country for the rest of my life. Sorry, babes. They do not season food the way I like over here. like I'm too used to all of the good things that I have in America. I cannot come over here. I'm so sorry. I'm like, this is a one-time thing. I'm probably never gonna come back to this country in particular. Probably not gonna have me again. Sorry. So I'm like, thank you, no thank you. And he's just like, yeah, I visit America a lot. I'm like, bro, what's a lot? He's like, twice a year I come. I be in different spots. Cause he's like supposed to be like being like, he's got like a bunch of different like little things going on with him. Like he got his own little business where he like needs to travel for that, but then also he's like in school for like something related to medicine or something. I don't know. And I was just like, that's very beautiful. Love that for you. You will find your person. It won't be me. I'm so sorry. It will not be me. I'm so sorry. He was just like, I just had to come over here and talk to you. I'm glad that I got to meet you. Da da da. I'm just like, wow. I would just love to have your Instagram so I can just look at you, be great. Just, you know, in the future, see you marry your wife and everything, and then have your little babies, because they're going to be so adorable, and they're just going to run around and just be the cutest things in the world. Not with me though, but like I would love to see that. I just think that that would be great. I want to see you prosper. You look and you sound and you just seem like a great guy. Not for me though, but love that for you, and you're going to do great. And he's just like, I feel the same. Like I wish it could work out. I wish you felt for me the feelings that I feel for you. But you know, love at first sight isn't for everybody, you know? Love at first sight isn't for everybody. I was like, child, stop trying to swindle me into a date. Like you was not about to say love at first sight, this or that. You wasn't even like, I'm like, you're not even looking for a wife. You're just like, I am now though. Now that it's possible and I've seen you, I just feel like, you know, what do I know? What do I know? What do I know? What are you referring to? What do I know? And so I'm just like, yeah. But the little talk with him was hilarious. And the little talk with his dad was even more hilarious. And I had a great time eating my little lunch, hanging out at this restaurant. And you know, I felt like every time I go to a different state, it'd be like that. But like, being as though it was like one of my first times in a different country, I didn't know if it was going to translate. Because you know, like everybody, like, sense of beauty is different. Like what everybody thinks is like so great is not so great in other places. But like this shit translate. Motherfuckers was hopping out of cars for me there too. My bad. Hopping off of bikes. They don't be driving like that. They was hopping off of bikes. They don't really drive like that over in Europe. They was hopping off the bikes for me. They said, where are you going? Hey, sweetheart. It just was another language. I don't know what he said. I don't know what they were saying, but they was definitely hopping off the bikes and attempting their best English to try to talk to me. But yeah, I just felt like that one was more fun and more interesting than the other ones, and being as though he was so beautiful, I just was like, oh, I'm gonna just tell y'all about this beautiful man that I met when I was having lunch when I was in Europe. And so yeah, but like, yeah, he was just like, I'm not gonna bother you. Like, you was reading, you was minding your business, you was eating, and I'm over here telling you my whole life story and what I have in store for us if you decide that you want to talk to me. But like, obviously, you don't live in this country, and like, I'm not trying to make you move, and I don't think I'm gonna be able to move anytime soon. So it seemed like it would be way more work than you would want to get into at this point in time. I'm just like, you're not wrong. I fuck with you. You cool for real. And he was like, okay. And so then he got me something to drink because I didn't buy a drink because I never buy drinks. I'm like, boy, I'm not paying $5 for a Sprite. And so yeah, I would just be like, I would take water or I would take nothing. So yeah, I had ran out of the water bottle that I brought with me. So then he got me something to drink, and then he brought it over and he was just like, yeah, again, nice meeting you, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, all right, cool. And then he was just like, I'm going to the gym down the street, just in case you want to come. And I was just like, thank you. No, thank you. Because I already went to the gym, showered, and then came to get lunch already. So that wasn't about to happen. And so then, yeah, he left. And then his father was trying to talk to me when I was leaving. He was just like, yeah, I just wish you would have worked out. Like, you really would have been the best daughter-in-law. You would always be eating. I'm always cooking. And like, I would have just loved to have beautiful little brown grandbabies because I want to keep everything brown. And I was just like, I was like, okay. He was just like, yeah, we gotta keep it locked up. And I'm just like, I get you. And so he was just like, yeah, so I just figured I'd just offer my son's hand in marriage. Like, I knew he would be on board. I just wanted you to be on board, and you're not on board. So, you know, I tried. And I'm like, okay. But like, mind you, this is like a 60-year-old man trying to talk to me in his broken English. So I'm telling you what he said. He didn't say it like that. He did not say it like that. It was a lot of me's instead of I's, and a lot of I's instead of me's. And he was on his best. And so, yeah, that's how that was. But it was just fun. It's no moral of the story for real, because what could the moral of the story be? Go to have lunch by yourself. Treat yourself. Maybe you'll run into the love of your life. You can run into the love of your life. You never know. Like, you might meet your husband while you're taking yourself on a date. You might meet your wife while you're taking yourself on a date. So yeah, just self-love, self-care. Like, experience things on your own. You don't always need a crowd. You don't always need somebody with you to have these great interactions with people and to get a good laugh, you know? That's the moral of the story. So for me, story time Tish the Tea is over. Peace and love.